Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So the recent FOMC meeting came out actually pretty bullish. Although the rate decision itself was stagnant at 4.5%, we did get confirmation of at least a 50 basis point cut throughout the rest of 2025. Naturally, we saw quite a little rally from the crypto markets, and Bitcoin went up to retest 87k and some major resistances on both the daily and 3-day charts. Will this rally continue for Bitcoin over the next week? Let's dive into the price action and analyze it and find out. Before we get into all that, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Wednesday and Saturday, and join my free Telegram for more regular updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in my VIP channel, be sure to message me on Telegram to get more details. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. So for those of you guys who follow economic policy pretty tightly, you probably already know what's been going on, but let's just do a really quick context recap before we dive into our analysis. So on Thursday at 4 a.m, for those of us in Australia, we had the federal interest rate meeting in America, right? And 30 minutes following that was the federal interest rate conference, where they talk about everything that they considered moving into the decision and everything that they are yet to consider or will consider moving forward for economic policy. So the decision itself, the rate decision itself, wasn't really the big event. We already had priced in a 100% chance of no change, and that is pretty much exactly what we saw, right? 4.5%. It was completely stagnant in the rate decision, but it was at this meeting that we received what was perceived to be bullish news. So if we take a look at this recap by CNBC, basically rates were held steady, but there was more confirmation, or I guess clues about upcoming rate cuts throughout the rest of 2025. So 2 rate cuts is generally equivalent to 50 basis points, and that was honestly really promising, right? The fact that they were still on the table despite the overall ambiguity of the current economic climate with the Trump administration's new policies like his tariffs and the new tax stuff that he's introducing. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but like a break from taxes, whatever that means. And so the fact that it's still on the table was obviously perceived quite bullish by the market. We saw rallies from Dow Jones and S&P 500, and Bitcoin moved up throughout the rest of the day and closed the daily candle on Thursday morning at around $87,000 or 86.9 thousand. We also broke above this major level of resistance on the daily time frame, or our sort of trend trigger, or I guess it's a really macro trend indicator as well, the 200 EMA, as well as this major RSI downtrend that we had here, and that we've been traveling in for about 5 months now, right? So we've seen decreasing bullish momentum across this entire period of consolidation from 91k and onwards. So the fact that we broke above that momentarily was a really good sign. Now, we can see though, over the last 24 hours, the rally has come to a pretty abrupt halt, right? We're rejecting off 87,000. We've fallen back below the 200 EMA so far and back below this major RSI downtrend. So the big question is whether or not the rally that we recently sustained in the short time frame price action is going to continue, or if not, and failing that, what is the price action that is going to follow? Are we going to see an extended period of bearish price action as Bitcoin continues to travel in this downtrend? So zooming into the 4-hour chart, let's talk about what would facilitate a bullish continuation for Bitcoin on both the short time frame and the high time frame as well. So taking a look here on the 4-hour chart, what the recent rally catalyzed by FOMC did was push Bitcoin above this major level of short time frame resistance at $84,000. We can see the continuation of equal highs over there, and we saw that as a change of character level, leading to bearish continuation at 76k on last week on Sunday as well, right? So pretty crucial level of resistance, and we are currently now retesting that as a base of support, which has confluence with our 50 EMA. So currently on this 4-hour time frame, our key bullish validation is that support at 84,000. We need to see that held on the short time frame and to facilitate continued bullish rallying. So our current key level of resistance then, as we can see by this rejection here, is the 200 EMA, as well as this sort of structure that we have here, our ascending wedge. So in the scenario that we continue to hold above 84.5 thousand, that level of support, we want to see Bitcoin continue to push upwards, creating higher highs and higher lows on the charts, until eventually when we move up to break above the 200 EMA, which we have consistently rejected off for the last couple of weeks, and then also the major 2025 downtrend that you guys could have seen on that daily chart, right? The one that has taken us throughout the last, I want to say, 3 months of price action here, right? That is going to be a retest of the 50 EMA as well on that daily time frame. So really big levels of resistance moving upwards. In the scenario that Bitcoin doesn't manage to do that, what we can see here as well on the 4-hour chart is that we're traveling in quite a bearish structure here, right? We're seeing compressing price action moving into resistance and decreasing volatility. So in the case that we lose 84K support and we see this RSI uptrend broken down from as well, it's very likely then that we see a breakdown of this structure and move downwards to retest prior lows at 81,000. Falling below that, Bitcoin will enter a short time frame downtrend, leading to potentially an eventual retest of our range low at $76,000. Those are the 2 short time frame scenarios that we have here, right? So we're watching out for that structure and for these resistance breaks to trigger either a bullish or bearish continuation on the short time frame. Now, moving on from the short time frame, let's talk about then what's going to validate that short time frame rally has had a significant impact on these high time frame charts. So we've already spoken about this daily chart downtrend, right? So we know that needs to be broken to actually signal, I guess, enough of a rally to push Bitcoin out of this pattern of forming lower highs on the charts, right? So that obviously starts with a push above the downtrend, and then of course there's 91 to 92K resistance as well. Now, what we also need to see, and this is, I guess, what we didn't see in the recent rally on Thursday morning / Wednesday, and that is one of the reasons why Bitcoin's in a little bit of a precarious situation right now. So if we take a look at the RSI, although we managed to break out of the downtrend, what we didn't manage to do is push above this equal highs level at 51.35. We can see we rejected just shy of 51.3, and that eventual loss of momentum is what's leading, I guess, the short time frame price action to also develop that bearish structure, and also the loss of the 200 EMA here on the daily chart as well, right? So if we're going to see a meaningful rally from Bitcoin, those are things that we need to see done to actually shift these charts from potentially bullish to actually bullish as well. Now, aside from the daily time frame, if we head over to the 3-day chart as well, the Gaussian channel is another massive level of resistance that we recently retested, that midline over here. Now, the midline acts as latent confirmation in dropping into the Gaussian channel of high time frame continued bearish price action. So we've got about a day to 2 days left of the next 3-day candle close, and if Bitcoin is able to sustain support at 84,000 and we see a bounce, we could finally see Bitcoin push above the midline of the Gaussian channel here, thereby preventing more confirmation that Bitcoin is going to continually head in that sort of bearish trajectory, right? I've talked about it in prior videos, so I don't want to go over it too much in case anyone gets really sick of it. But the midline is generally, rejecting off the midline after falling into the channel is generally what signals that confirmation, right? We had a potential to reverse here, rejection, and a loss. We had a potential to reverse here, and we did reverse here. We broke above the midline, used it as support, and had that secondary rally back in 2021. So that's kind of what we want to see here at the very least, right? So a reversal here in testing the base of that channel there, a push back above the midline to facilitate potentially a secondary rally here for Bitcoin. So on this short time frame, the daily chart and the 3-day chart is where we sort of gain our key bullish validations, right? We can see what's going to facilitate short time frame rallying and what's going to facilitate meaningful rallying on the high time frame on the 3-day and the daily time frame. So what about the other scenario, right? So if Bitcoin loses $84,000 as that base of support, we end up fulfilling that bearish ascending wedge structure, and we see another retest and a movement down to the range of 76. What's going to signal the reverse of all of this and the high time frame continuation of a bearish descent? So of course, we've talked about the midline here on the 3-day chart, but what we're really looking for is on the weekly chart being the 44.1 point at the RSI. So we can see over the entire period of accumulation here for Bitcoin, we have retained this sort of baseline for bullish momentum at 44.41. In the next segment of price action, if we continue to see, I guess, failure to rally from Bitcoin and we see the weekly RSI close below 44.41, that is a major red flag and really big confirmation that despite, I guess, vaguely bullish economic news, the overall sentiment for Bitcoin is that it's bearish, and we're going to see a continued bearish descent and the top being in for this segment of price action. So overall, guys, we're in a pretty neutral stance right now, right? We've just had some economic news come out that's been pretty bullish. The markets are rallying. Now we're just sort of waiting to see whether or not that rally is going to be enough. We have our key triggers, our key validations, and we have our key red flags as well. Alrighty, guys, that is a wrap on the analysis today. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you guys liked the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And join my free Telegram channel for more regular updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in my VIP channel, don't forget to contact me on Telegram for more details. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.